my name is Zanny Anderson Jarvis, and I am living currently in Maui, Hawaii, in the US. And I am an NLP Master Prac coach, and I also have my master's in clinical mental health counseling. So I am a therapist that bridges into the NLP world. First found out about NLP, I was actually in my graduate program getting my master's degree in counseling, and I ended up doing the practitioner level back in 2020. And it was very profound for me because I didn't realize at the time the profound impact of the unconscious mind and how it governs 90% of our behaviors. In my program, there really wasn't much talk about the unconscious mind, like a little bit of Freud talk here and there, but it was not a big emphasis. And so that was my introduction to NLP. Then I went on to graduate with my master's. I ended up working with a NLP master prac coach on Maui, helping me in my relationship at the time. This is about a year ago. And I received so much help from her that when she told me about Master Prac, I immediately jumped on board and I was like, okay, now is the time for me to up level my skill set with this specific framework. And so I did the master level back in May, and it's been it was a very profound experience for me, very intensive. It's online for, approximately 2 weeks. And I feel like that intensity really teaches you a lot about yourself, and it really gives you the courage, the tenacity, the resilience that really are required of you to become a successful coach. And I really feel like now that I've done the master prac level, helping people shift their subconscious limiting patterns and beliefs is literally how we change the world. My specialty and expertise is in relationships, and so I know my foundation is in attachment theory and attachment styles, and helping people rewire their nervous system from anxious or avoidant tendencies within relationship dynamics and becoming more secure within their relationship to themselves and others. And so being able to approach that from an NLP perspective really empowers people in the ways in which they used to feel disempowered. So in the past, even for me, I recognized how my language was really limiting me, and I wasn't as aware of my language as I am now. NLP teaches you how to be at cause. So I feel like so many people are walking around the planet being at effect. Oh, this happened to me. Oh, all my traumas happened to me. And, it's really disempowering for a lot of folks. And so NLP really taught me how to be in that empowered state. And like, even if I'm having a bad day or something happens that, is maybe causing discomfort, I'm still seeing it as part of my greater evolution. And I'm seeing the triggers now as lessons. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to, go through like certain emotional processes. It doesn't mean I'm a robot, but it allows me to see things from a higher perspective. One of the things I learned in NLP is that Adriana James taught is fear is actually not real because it hasn't happened yet. And so just even that nugget of wisdom has completely shifted the way that I see the world. Another pillar of wisdom that I think is really valuable is, when we've experienced trauma, a lot of us fall into like really rigid thinking patterns and feeling like a lot of black and white thinking. And so NLP really opens us up to more shades of gray and more creative ways of thinking because it actually dismantles shame, which really prevents us from being in joy and bliss and living in our heart space. And so, yeah, I feel like when we can have that flexibility, that adaptability, that creativity within our relationships, it really frees us and gives us so much more expansion in our lives. Adriana James does an excellent job of breaking all the values levels down. What I recognized is for values level 4 and level 5, which she said is predominantly the values levels that make up the world, they're operating on two opposite sides of the spectrum. And so it's really hard to like understand each other if one person is more in sacrificial group think mentality and the other one is more in individualistic thinking, right? And so what I was able to recognize in myself is I was actually values level 6 inside of 4. Values level 6, meaning incorporating those values from level 5 of individualism and being really good at sales and really being a go-getter and kind of like almost being like a self-made man sort of energy, right? And bringing that into that heart space open mentality of like helping the planet. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people that have the group think um generosity and abundance mindset for helping others, they are kind of maybe limited's a good word in that values level for thinking, because they're not able to really, a lot of times like make money the way they want. They feel constrained by their 9 to 5s. They maybe are indoctrinated into like old patterns of like religious thinking that maybe was passed down to them that they don't even recognize are not theirs. And so I think for me, recognizing to like truly get into values level 6 fully, I need to incorporate, like, let go more of values level 4, really embody values level 5 through speaking my truth, being on platforms where I can be seen, not being afraid to be audacious and be authentic with my messaging, to really embody levels 5 to like go to level 6. And, Adriana will say there's no values level that's like better or worse than another. But that was something that came up for me in the training of like, okay, I feel like I want to fully embody values level 6. And that was my mentality of how I know that I can do that. NLP stands for neuro linguistic programming. And I kind of see it as like the way in which the mind communicates through language patterns. So, being able to articulate yourself in a clear, concise, and easily understandable way that gets your point across, that feels empowering, is very vital in self-expression. It's vital in your business, and it's an excellent way to clear any sort of unresolved trauma or anything that has been passed down, or any sort of like indoctrination that someone has received, and to be able to clear that out and really come just down into more of like the true essence of who you are. So it's almost like getting rid of like all the fluff that isn't you to root down into what is truly you. And the way in which we approach that is through the neurology. So being able to like tap into these spaces of our mind where we are incongruent and coming into more congruency with ourselves. What surprised me most about doing this training was that I could actually stay up late doing this training on Hawaii time. I ended the training at like 12 a.m. or sometimes 1 a.m. And I go to bed at 9 p.m. And so I was just so worried that I wasn't going to be able to stay awake. But honestly, the content was so engaging that I had no issue staying awake. And you almost get into like a trance or a hypnotic state, if you will, during the training. And, you're hanging on to every word because it's so interesting that I was able to stay awake. So I was really pleased to realize that because I thought I was going to just be falling asleep at my computer, but I wasn't. And if something is recommended to me by a trusted friend or mentor, and they're saying that it's going to change your life, and now anything with like helping you reprogram your unconscious mind, because I know that it governs 90% of our behaviors, like anything that's going to help clear or, help that aspect of me, I'm like, yes, it feels like a no-brainer. Um, it feels like a no-brainer. So I would say the training is for anyone that, and it, I mean, yes, like to become a coach or an entrepreneur, business owner, it's incredible. But like truly at its root, like it can be just as empowering if you want to do it for self-development. Yeah, again, like the phrase that I'm hearing is like come down into like your true essence of who you are, and to help you sharpen your mind so you can become more congruent with your behaviors and your actions and be able to have that thought and take action on it immediately. And I think in this day and age, especially with like, ADHD tendencies and procrastination and inaction, all these behaviors that are rooted in self-sabotage are so prominent in society. It's like being able to have a dream or, have a thought and take action on it right away is so valuable. And so that aspect of the training is worth it in and of itself. I will say that AI can be a great adjunct. It could be a great additive, but it's not a replacement for a person right in front of you that you can, in the therapeutic words, co-regulate with. And from an attachment theory perspective, like we heal in community, we heal in connection. That's why groups like AA were formed. So people know that they're not alone. And so while AI can be really valuable, it can be a valuable tool. It's certainly not a replacement or a substitute for human connection. Yeah, I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that it can inspire someone to take the training because I really got a lot out of it.